Hey, how you guys doing today? Welcome to Ajax Production. I am your host, Eniola Ajax, and we are back with another amazing episode. And on this episode of the Ajax Show, we're coming with something a little chill. It's a Sunday, you know what I mean? We're trying to, stay on the track because at the end of the day, it's more important to be consistent than try to be perfect. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, sometimes I do enjoy watching content, and I do want to watch content with y'all, especially when it's something that's really good and something that's really interesting. I feel like we'll all be interested in. So with no further ado, let's get into it. You know what I mean? Let's get into it. Okay, before we get started, I want to introduce you to Create. Right? His name is Clark. I don't want to butcher her last name, so I won't stress about it. But his name is Clark. As you can see, he has 1.9 million subscribers. And, we want to learn from him, what he has to say. It's a moderately short video. We'll, just go through it and see what we learn from this, you know what I mean? So stick with me and let's get into it. Yes, Clark, take us away.
There's a great quote that goes, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it'll direct your life and you will call it fate." Maybe you felt like the person blocking the life you want is you. You constantly overthink things that other people seemingly don't. You slip back into old habits that you swore off, also known as self-sabotage, where you consciously or unconsciously block your own success. So in this video, we're going to do two important things, busted out the chart for you. The first is show you what this cycle of self-sabotage actually is. But the second is I want to give you 4 practical steps. Now that you know what it is and how it shows up.
So before we keep going, the title of the episode is called Give Me 17 Minutes and I'll Eliminate Your Self-Sabotage Forever. And I feel like this is something that we all deal with, on a day-to-day basis, because at the end of the day, we're all humans, we're not perfect, and we have flaws, meaning that things that we have in our lives that, that are there to hold us back from reaching our potential. But it's our job to identify those things and do our best to eliminate them or stay away from them in the first place. Yes, some of us have, done a bad job of staying away from some things, but at the end of the day, the goal is not to beat yourself up and, put yourself down, but it's to uplift yourself and realize that, God is with you and he's going to work with you through the whole process of getting yourself out of the mud that you're in. So let's finish up this video.
Up and exactly where it comes from, what do you do with it? So if that sounds good, big smash on the like button helps us out, and I'll link down below 7 shadow work questions, little workshop you get for free for hopping on our email newsletter every Saturday. The easiest way I would explain self-sabotage is green is good, red is bad. So you have things that are really good for you, progress that you're making, and then something bad happens that sabotages and undoes all that green. Maybe in your life you get some money and then an unexpected bill comes up, or you find a way to spend it, you net out to zero. Maybe you're doing really good on your diet, you're locking in, your habits are crushing, and then DoorDash is on your phone, and at 11 p.m. at night, in 30 minutes, you undo 23 and a half hours of progress, netting you out to zero. Maybe you got a really good relationship and then boom, a big fight happens and undoes like 3 weeks worth of progress in one go. You want to start a business, but you catch yourself overthinking, procrastinating, watching other people do it, and you've seen them blow up. Meanwhile, you have the same goals for 12 to 24 months. So I'm sure.
Right. So in my case, right, I've noticed that, this has happened to me multiple times, especially this year alone, right? I had a goal to, save a certain amount of money. I did save up that amount of money, surprising to me. But I don't know what happens. Like I let my leg off the gas and then stuff just went. I think if you want to get more details on that, check my my quick DoorDash video. But what I learned from that is that, like, you have to find a way to keep the momentum going, the consistency going. It's not a thing that you start and you just, stop, because the moment you stop, it's like I don't want to say you start over, but it's like you shock your system, and it's like it's like your brain doesn't know what to do with that inconsistency. It just kind of, you know what I mean? So, let's see what he keeps saying. But I feel like our goal is always to stay consistent. You know what I mean? Not overdo it, not underdo it, but stay consistent and keep showing up every day.
You can see how, yes, the green is good. We want that. We're striving for that. But if we're constantly doing this and getting sucked into the red, it's sort of that scale balances out to 0 right here. And this can go on this cycle forever if we don't break it.
Hey renters, with Allstate, you can get a quote in seconds. By answering...
Now, I want to continue the conversation around practically how does this show up for you, instead of just going theoretical. There's really 4 steps, and they go in a loop. First up, there is a trigger. Let's say your version of self-sabotaging is procrastination. This could be a deadline you have coming up for school or work, a project that's due.
How many of us procrastinate out here? All of us. We all procrastinate out here. So how do we deal with procrastination? How do we figure out our procrastination and overcome that obstacle when it does show up in our lives?
Do something you need to get done. Instead of doing it, which would progress us forward, we escape. This is where whatever flavor of your self-sabotage comes in as a coping mechanism. This could be doom scrolling. This could be staying up really late because you feel like that's your time and then you're tired the next day. This could be drinking, smoking, adult websites, whatever your flavor is, that is what we do here. And then there's relief because, let's face it, those things we're not doing because they don't work. They do work as a coping mechanism. We can at least escape the uncomfortable emotion. But eventually we have to come back down, and then there is shame. Because there's who you're actually being and who you know you're capable of. And when there's a gap between that, what creeps in, you could call it 100 different things, but a lot of the times the underlying emotion behind it is shame. Crazy thing is this then becomes the next trigger. And this loop turns into a spiral. It's like when you're tired and you take a day off and you bed rot or you sit on the couch and you binge watch a show. The act of doing nothing makes you more tired. So let me give you a few examples on this just to land this and ground this in some examples. You're someone who wants to start your own business, or you want to start creating Instagram videos, YouTube videos. And the trigger is that you've tried to film yourself on your iPhone, but you feel like you can't be yourself, or you get in your own head when you go to turn it on, or you're worried about being misunderstood. The escape here could be some of these, but oftentimes it's, I just need to research more. Maybe I'm not good enough. We internalize that because other people can do it and I can't. So let me just consume more how-to content. The trigger with self-sabotage can also be things going too well. Huge, especially for high achievers out there. If you are ambitious, you have goals, maybe you have a body of work that you did in the past and you're at a certain level. A lot of the times it could be, I signed a new client, that's success, but now I feel afraid that I'm not going to be able to deliver. I'm not good enough. Or, I'm in a relationship and now I'm scared of losing them. Let me try to alter myself so I can hold on to them. A lot of times with entrepreneurs, they want to build a business, but with that comes a fear of exposure. And it's funny, we say those words like, I want more exposure. But a lot of the times what clout or numbers can do is put more of a spotlight on you, and you only learn once you're in it. Maybe that's not what I want, or maybe that's too much or different than how I thought it would be. And a lot of this 100%. Is happening internally and leads to self-sabotage, even if you're consciously not aware of it. My self-sabotage back in the day was alcohol. I would drink, and this cycle played in massively. So whenever I'd feel career pressure, Like, where is my career going? You know, is this worth it? Is this a pipe dream? Am I doing the right thing? Instead of me answering those questions or doing something about it, I would just drink and then I'd feel normal. So the trigger for me was pressure, especially around my career. Or if I worked a really long day and I felt like maybe things weren't happening fast enough, I would drink. That was my escape. And the relief, yeah, it felt good. And I started getting excited again, or I was able to relax. As you know, the next couple days, I'd feel super hungover. And then that would zap my productivity. So there was a lot of shame around it. Like, oh, why do I keep doing that? Why do I know that thing's not good for me. And that robbed the confidence, or you feel fake showing up because you know what you're doing behind the scenes. And it feels incongruent for you to talk about like becoming the best version of yourself when you know you're drinking every night. And we're all works in progress. I'm not saying that to say you have to be perfect to be in public or like a certain.
And like I said, that's a good point that he makes, because like from my observation of life and watching everybody, it sounds like we all have, you know, this thing going on. You know, we're all trying to understand our, you know, our human bodies. You know what I mean? And our human bodies, you know, they kind of, you know, does its own thing sometimes. And it seems like you have to take control of that, unless it's gonna do its own thing and go off the rails. You don't want it to go off the rails, so you have to find ways to bring yourself back, always, unless you're gonna be homeless in the middle of nowhere. You know what I mean? So from what I'm understanding in this is basically telling us that we should be conscious of it, and that we should, you know, conscious of it and then be active to make it better and to improve that behavior so it doesn't take over our lives and, you know, make us look like a fool or make us not feel confident, because at the end of the day, we're all, you know, gifted in our own unique ways.
Version of yourself is the only acceptable one. In fact, what I realized through this and quitting alcohol was that I was using alcohol in this cycle, and it was causing a lot of shame because I felt like I wasn't good enough at the core of who I was. So my point in sharing this with you is twofold. The first is to realize that yes, the self-improvement helps knock yourself out, keep doing it, that's good. But if we never focus on some of the self-acceptance, the stuff that's in our shadow, it's gonna grow and it's gonna net us out to zero. And the second is thinking about that thing that you do, passing it through this cycle. Okay, how does this show up for you? It's worth journaling on, or keeping a note in notes log in your phone. You know, when you feel triggered to do that thing compulsively, smoke, drink, whatever your thing is, watch this whole thing play out. And then ultimately, after you do it, ask, how do I feel? I think we've covered enough here. You good on that? Let's move on to the question, dude, what do we do with it?
It's hard for us to.
Okay, so that's a good question. So now when this is happening to you, when you're going through your cycles or your moment, when you do, you know, keep repeating the thing that is, you know, hurting you and stuff like that or damaging you, how do you solve this problem? So he's going to explain that right now. I guess let's see what he says, you know what I mean?
So I'll share 4 things. By no means is this a comprehensive guide. There is probably 100 steps out there. These 4 are just some of my favorites that I've chose because they've helped me the most. So let's start with the biggest one. Something called competing commitments. This is when you want 2 things at the same time. So in the context of business, this could be you want a successful business, but you want to remain anonymous or you're afraid of being misunderstood. This could be you want a relationship, but you're scared of losing your freedom. Wanting money, but never wanting to talk to people because you're scared of rejection. So one of the commitments is you want something, and the other commitment is you don't want to lose something. Your whole nervous system is sort of running on a circuit that's gain or pain. And if you know anything about behaviorism, humans, we're weird in the way that we will work harder not to lose something than we will to gain something. You know, you could go to Vegas right now and bet your life savings on essentially a 50-50 coin flip. Most of us don't do that because the fear of losing everything significantly outweighs the possibility of doubling. So what I would do here with competing commitments, I would just write them out in a T-chart. I would say, I want this, and what it means is this. And you'll get a lot of positive, but just like come up with like 20 reasons and see if any of those are negative. And then that becomes the thing you're trying to work with, because it's usually the brake that's sabotaging the gas. So number 2, this is...
So I'll definitely have to watch this over again to, get the concept of what he's really talking about. But here is basically saying that you should, compare and contrast from, what's happening right now and where you want to go, so that you know if you've made any progress and if you've moved forward in a way. I hope that's what he's
good. If you're someone who self-sabotages through inaction. A big reason we self-sabotage through avoidance and inaction, because we're buying into the myth that we have to feel a certain way about it. Well,
okay, with this one, this just happened to me today, right? I was about to procrastinate again on shooting this episode, and I've been trying to make an excuse of because I'm supposed to shoot an episode a week, so I can edit and have a video up every week. It's supposed to be 2, but I reduced it to 1 so that I can give myself space to breathe, because I still have to edit it, put it together. And I want to, increase the quality of the content that comes out. But I noticed that, I was giving myself this excuse of I wanted to be perfect. So I would literally skip it for weeks now. It's been a month or 2 now that I haven't recorded anything or posted anything. And I'm just like, you know what? Freak it. We need to change the strategy. And of course, we need to have, multiple strategies of shooting this show, but I need to show up today. For sure. It doesn't matter what kind of episode we're going to shoot today. You need to show up today. And that's what we just did. So I'm trying to knock out my procrastinations as well. As you can see, that's why I'm happy I chose this, because it aligns with what is going on with me today. You know what I mean? I was just laying down and I was like, you know what? I got to shoot this episode. So
I can't go out and socialize if I don't feel confident, or I can't film that piece of content if I'm not energized and amped up, or I can't start a business until I feel inspired. And yes, it's better when you feel motivated, and it's better when you feel energized, might even be easier. But this solution is giving yourself permission to do it scared. I would sabotage myself back in the day because I thought I had to perform.
Right. Okay. So my other excuse I was gonna have today was that I don't have a haircut. Right. I was gonna shave my beard, and I had to decide if I should shave my beard or I should just go for it. And in the mix of I should shave my beard, I was like, that's gonna take too long. I just need to go for it. You know what I mean? So I just figure it. Let's go for it. You know what I mean? Did the setup, and I'm here now. So it's just to show that you got to do it anyways. You got to take action anyways. You got to do what you got to do imperfectly. You know what I mean? So that you can satisfy the fact that you actually did it. You know what I mean? It's better than not doing it at all. Trust me.
To film YouTube content. So if I said I'm feeling really tired today, I guess I can't film that video. Or, I got to feel super motivated to film something. And so what I did as I was doing a lot of this work is I started keeping a log, a little text note, a text doc that I would drop into the raw footage after I filmed something. And this had everything from how I felt, from the gear I used. And at the bottom there, I would rank my energy going in on a 1 to 10 scale. Because my theory was, well, if I feel like doing something, those videos will do better because that'll translate and, it'll just be a better piece of content, right? Makes sense. But what I realized after doing that hundreds and hundreds of times, it had almost no correlation. The videos that I did where I didn't feel it, let's say I was a 4 or 5 out of 10 energy, sometimes would go on to get 300, 400,000 views. And then there were videos that I did that had an 8, 9, 10, and I walk away all confident, it's gonna crush. And they'd get 30,000 or 20,000 views or flop. And so when you give yourself permission to do it, even if you don't feel like it, even if you're a little tired, even if you're out of it, even if you're scared, then that work becomes the healing process because you improve, you're proud,
Right. So I just got this thought that you got to systemize it. You got to find a way to systemize your process that, like he just said, do it scared, right? Is basically meaning you already have like your job, right? You have a job that you go to every day, right? When you do you feel like going to job every day, to work every day? No, but you have to go, right? Every day, because if you don't go, you're not going to get paid. So you have an incentive to be there. Same thing with your content or anything that you need to do to get yourself, to get yourself to the next level that you want to be at, right? You got to keep that incentive that, like, okay, I have to do this. It doesn't matter how I feel. I have to show up. I have to do it. Even if I'm not, like, even right now, I don't feel like doing this. I feel like finishing up what I was already started. But right now, I feel like it's also important for me to stick to my process and my system, that if I do that, it reward me at the end. You know what I mean? So yes, it's important to do it regardless of how you feel. Let's finish up.
And that gives the positive momentum you're seeking. We got two more, and I think these will help self-sabotage from a few different angles. So the third is giving up your addiction.
Stop taking meeting notes and let ClickUp AI Note Taker do it for you. It allows you to focus on your meetings.
To control. You ever played a board game or like Super Smash Bros with your niece or nephew, and you maybe you don't go easy on them and you're beating them, and then they rage quit. They throw the controller, like, I wasn't trying anyway. And they quit because they were losing. That kid quits because at least if he loses, damn it, it's on his terms. This could be quitting before you get fired as a form of sabotage. This could be ending a relationship before you get left. This could be someone you're in a disagreement with, and then they turn it into a fight because they were losing the disagreement or maybe looked bad. And that's their protection mechanism instead of saying sorry or apologizing. I'll give you one right here on control and how this is linked to self-sabotage. So for me, I have struggled. I have a very addictive personality, and that's worked for the positive with business and great things in my life. But it also comes with the side of I can get hooked on things very easily. And one of those things was alcohol earlier, but the other one was nicotine. And man, over the last 8 years, I have struggled with everything from like gum to Zyn pouches. Back in the day, it was vaping, and I would just get hooked on nicotine. And I've quit probably 4 or 5 times. And that was a form of self-sabotage. I'm like, why do I quit something and then keep going back to it? It makes no sense. Like, I've already quit something. I've been clean of it for like 9 months, and then boom, I go back. And I realized, like, yes, there's a huge physical component to it. But the thing I liked about it was progress, having a goal. Even if that meant doing something destructive, at least I can progress my way out of it. And that feels like improvement. That if I can control my leveling up and my improving. And so as crazy as it is, like sometimes a form of self-sabotage is so you have some control over it. And the progress of like, I'm down and then I'm up and I'm down and I'm up, like you can get hooked on that. So I guess with this one, control, and that we always think there's something to fix. But the question I would flip it back on is, what if there was nothing to fix? Going back to our conversation, self-improvement, this is self-acceptance. I find that a lot of times when you accept yourself and you say, you know what, I don't have it all together. You know what, I am scared. You know what, I am tired. You know what, I do feel like I have some more.
You know what, it is imperfect, goddammit, but I'm still gonna do it anyways. You know what I mean?
Or work to do, and I don't always have to be confident. That self-awareness is oftentimes what gives you the confidence. All right, is that one clear? Moving on here. The last one, number 4. This one is super practical, and you can do this today when you're done with this video. Look at the room before the mirror.
Okay.
What do I mean by that?
What does that mean?
I mean that oftentimes self-sabotage can just be as simple as an environmental problem. Like if you're trying to lose weight and you have all this sugar in your house, of course you're self-sabotaging at night when your willpower is low. Throw out the sugar. You know, if you're trying to get off of doom scrolling and you find yourself like, oh, I'm just, my screen time's crazy. You know, I feel like addicted to the Instagram reels. Delete Instagram off your phone. You know, maybe keep it on the app, keep it on your desktop, but at least like make it harder. This point is like, yes, we can do a lot of inner work and we can go to competing commitments and everything. Super important, but your environment's one of the most underrated ways to change your self-sabotage. If you have a job that is terrible and you don't like it and you feel like it's robbing your soul, you could do inner work on that. And maybe there is something going on with that, but maybe it's time to change the environment and get a new one. Can you make a lateral shift into something that is less soul sucking and pays the same? So many times we go to the mirror and look introspectively of like, why am I sabotaging myself? When really it could be as simple as the room we're putting ourselves in, what's in our immediate environment physically, and making sure that that's set up for success before we do anything else. Because if we don't, we're just going to make it 10 times harder. Let's land this.
Right. I've heard, people saying that if you want to go to the gym in the morning, set up your gym outfit the day before so that, it's already there before, when you wake up. So you just go. There's a lot of different ways of, setting that up. You know what I mean? You can, have your protein shakes and, what's it called? Creatines all in place ready for you to go so that, when you wake up, that you have something to, boost your energy to, go for it, So he's right. You know what I mean? Like, make sure you engineer your environment to help you, not to hurt you. You know what I mean? Like, today I had to clean up because the week is starting off. I just did laundry. You know what I mean? So it's just letting me know that I need to straighten up my space so that I can get ready for the next day and get my habits and my behavior in order.
Playing together. Let me give you a little recap and get you out of here. So we have the self-sabotage cycle that shows up in your life. And ultimately this nets you out to zero. And it feels like you got one foot on the gas, one foot on the brakes, and you can't progress. And what happens when we're in this cycle is we have a 4-step loop. The solution that I've found, 4 things that I like: check your competing commitments. What does what I want actually represent on the other side? The second is giving yourself permission to do it regardless of how you feel. And also giving up your need for control. So much of what we do on a day-to-day basis, we don't have control over, but also looking at the room before the mirror, checking your environment, making it sure it's set up for success. Big smash on the like button, drop a comment if you got something down below. And what I'll do now is link up.
Yeah, y'all go check on Clark, man. Clark did a great job on explaining that to a T. I know it's not his concept, but he basically broke it down so that we understand that, like at the end of the day, we all have something we're working on ourselves. We're all trying to be better people in the future. You know what I mean? And if you have something you're working on that, that you wanna conquer, well, there's certain steps that you need to take to do that. And just like he explained in the video, you gotta start taking those steps to help yourself get yourself to the next level. I am your host, Eniola Ajaxxprollc, also known as Ajax. I've had an amazing show showing up today. I will be here next week again. I think we have a big episode next week, but let's see how the week goes. If not, I'll show up again. You know what I mean? I need to make this a more consistent behavior of me to show up for the shows so that we build a community, a strong community. Like I said, I'm your host, Eniola Ajax, and I'll see you next week.